Hi guys, welcome back to the Game Digger. Tonight we're going to be talking about games you wished you would have played when they first came out. We have our two guest hosts today. We got the wonderful Chad's Dad's Games over here, and we got Kazi over here.
What's going on?
Let's start with Kazi. What's one game series you've always wanted to play but never ever had the time or desire to get started on? Which one?
The first one that popped into my mind when you asked me about this was the Suikoden series, or
Suikoden?
Suikoden. There's like, how many of those are there now?
Five.
Five. Right.
Well, there's 5, and then there's Suikoden Tactics. Then there's the GBA versions.
Well, it's like Final Fantasy.
Yep.
There's a whole ton of them, and there's different kinds of versions, but they all look cool to me, and they look very. They're like a mix between like Zelda and Final Fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, And I really would like to play them, but now, they came out on the PlayStation 1, right? So now when you go back and try to get the actual games, you got to be a millionaire to get them. Mm-hmm. Now you can get the digital versions, and I do have number 2 digitally on my PS3. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So that's going to be, I think, my starting off point, because I've heard that one's like really good. There's a lot of playable characters.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
What's really cool about that series, and I played the first 2, is I know that I played the first one on PS1, and you can actually upload the characters after you beat part 1 into part 2.
Nice.
And you can't do it with 3 and 4 and 5 because it's on PlayStation 2. But at least that can continue the storyline for those characters, similar to like Mass Effect does.
That's cool.
Back in the day. So, what about you, Chad?
He mentioned Final Fantasy, and I don't know. You asked me the question of like game series that I always wanted to play that I never did. I pretty much played everything that I wanted to play. The stuff that I'm interested in that I never played because it never really struck me before is more like what I'm thinking about here with Final Fantasy, because so many people like it, and there's a million games, and like they announced
offshoots,
they announced the new ones coming out, and everybody at E3 is like passing out and stuff, and
it's like the Beatles.
You see that one lonesome dude in the back.
For you younger folks, New Direction.
Yeah,
One Direction.
One Direction.
I don't listen to them.
Right. Yeah, they show that crowd at E3, and there's like that always one dude doing this. I want to know why. Is he that excited about it? There's got to be something there, right? Because, it's a video game. I like video games. I play pretty much anything as long as it's interesting to me. I don't like not play certain series because I don't play that kind of thing. Any kind of genre, I'll try it and play it if it looks cool and I want to try it.
Yeah.
So Final Fantasy, for me, I've tried a bunch of them, even going all the way back to the original one on the NES, and I just have not found... no
one's hooked you in.
I've not found the hook. There's got to be something to those games that makes all these people love it that I just haven't seen yet. Because
I'll tell you what one to avoid, and I know this is going to be. I'm going to be.
No matter what you say, there's going to be one of those guys
I'm gonna be,
out there that loves that one.
No, I'm going to be crucified for this.
Okay.
Because it's like everyone's favorite one.
What, 7?
No,
is that their favorite? No.
Final Fantasy. On the major one that was on the Super Nintendo, Final Fantasy 3 or 6, depending on what part of the world you're from.
Okay.
But that's like everybody's favorite. Oh, I love that game. I'll tell you what, I'm still trucking through it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my 3rd time starting it.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to slog through it because I'm trying, like you said, I'm trying to play through it because everybody loves it. I ain't loving it. And it's like, I don't know why everybody loves this game. I like the characters in it. I like the different characters, but the story's meh. And there's certain parts of it that I literally wanted to fall asleep during. Because it was like...
That's a bad sign.
I'm trying to slog through this part of the game. And now the Final Fantasies that I enjoyed a lot were Final Fantasy VII. That's a huge one.
Yep.
And I actually I actually liked the Final Fantasies that were like, you know,
8, 9.
Well, I liked 10.
10?
Yeah.
I never played 10.
I liked 10 quite a bit. And that was one of the newer ones that was out. You know,
yeah, PS2.
It was a PS2 one.
Yeah.
Now they have the HD versions.
Yeah.
But I like. I don't know if it's Final Fantasy X, but it's
X,
Final Fantasy 10 to
yeah.
me. You know, I liked that one. I like Final Fantasy 10, and I like Final Fantasy 7. 13.
Yeah, but no one likes 13.
Yeah.
And I personally, in the Final Fantasy series, the one I loved most was Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah.
That is an absolutely masterpiece. Why they've never made a part 2 or continued the series is beyond me. But that is just a masterpiece. Just because
You're talking about the one that's just on like the Game Boy Advance?
it's also on the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's also on the PlayStation 1. It's actually turn-based,
Yeah.
where you move a character to a certain spot, attack, and then they take a turn. And it's really strategy-oriented.
See, I did try that one on the Game Boy Advance because it's a lot like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I like Fire Emblem.
Uh-huh.
So, see, I can play that, but I hear people talking about Final Fantasy all the time, and I'm like, what am I missing? It's kind of like someone telling you how great a certain movie is, but you just haven't seen that scene. Like, you had to get up and go to the bathroom at the theater or something, and you missed the one part that makes it all come together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel about Final Fantasy. There's got to be something there that once I see it, I'll go, okay, now I get it. Or maybe I'll go, yeah, I still don't like it. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he's never tried it out.
Yeah.
So I think my game series that I always hear so much about, and I hear from everybody. I mean, I heard it from you guys a few times, and I'm displaying it tonight. I've never played a Zelda. Please let the Flame Wars begin. I have never played a Zelda. Ever.
I'm getting hit by all the flaming arrows and spikes over here that are coming.
The Octoroks are after.
Exactly.
Yeah, they are, all of them.
I never played one. I've never had the enthusiasm to play one. Now the new Breath of the Wild is coming out in a few weeks here, but it still doesn't excite me. And granted, it looks amazing, but it's still a kid in tights waving a sword with a shield, and it has a funky hairdo. Saving the same princess over and over. Can you say Mario?
Mario.
With the RPG element, I just don't get it. It doesn't excite. I don't know why everybody's so hyped about it. See, what makes it so great? You guys have both played it. What makes it so great to you?
Well, for me, I grew up with Zelda, so it's very nostalgic for me. I mean, I had the Nintendo when it came out, so with that came the first and second Zeldas, and I'm one of the ones that like the second Zelda.
I like the second Zelda too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was great too. I liked that one. I've played through that one a number of times. It's just kind of a retro 8-bit open world RPG.
Yeah.
And a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, it's pretty fun.
Uh-huh.
The second one is a side scroller RPG. Kind of dungeon crawler-esque, but side-scroller, and then it does have its top view stuff. So, those are some elements that I still enjoy in RPGs. So it's like, those kind of set the base.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then when you get into some of the upper-level Zeldas, it just becomes kind of a... See, the thing about Zelda is you say you're rescuing the same princess, you got to think of it as it's different generations of the story, okay, and it's different kind of alternate realities.
But when is she ever going to learn not to get caught?
Well,
I mean, come on.
It's not even her that he's going after.
It's not always her either, though.
Okay, all right. I just don't know enough about it, I guess.
My two favorite Zelda games, and if you want to start with these, I would suggest it, are Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Love that game. Actually called the Nintendo Hotline one time. That was
Called the
the time I
Hotline,
ever called the Hotline when I was a kid.
Yeah, they have the internet for that now.
Yeah.
But back then we had a hotline.
Nowadays, they have the internet.
Back then.
And then Ocarina of Time. And Ocarina of Time, if you can get past the graphics, some people say it's pretty dated graphics, but it's still pretty cool.
It's N64 graphics. That's why it just...
But
no other console looked just like that back then, because they all had disc-based stuff.
It's cool controls. It's a fun story.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a kid in tights who is, trying to rescue a princess, but it's... I guess they're more lighthearted than your obviously Dark Souls or even Final Fantasy. They're more lighthearted, and I think that's why people enjoy those, because they're not your gloom and doom dungeon crawling.
No demons, no warlocks and wizards and all crazy dark atmospheres.
There's some of that, but it's not as dark of an atmosphere.
Yeah. Some of the Zeldas, there's been a couple of the newer ones that were a little darker.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get that dark. But for me, I got a whole different take on it than you do with Zelda. I don't play it for the story, because the story is almost like, especially in the very first game, it was kind of non-existent at all.
The story is you have to go, you're trying to get the pieces of the Triforce and rescue Zelda. That's the story.
Yeah.
Zelda doesn't necessarily get captured. She's the princess of the land. And you're the guy that she asks to help save the world basically every time.
Okay.
Okay, and so there's this evil guy, and it's Ganon, or sometimes it's other forces and stuff like that, but primarily it all boils down to the Triforce. That's why, you probably got it on your shirt. Yeah, right here, right about there, that triangle thing. It doesn't stand for Illuminati or anything like that. It's just a Triforce. And, there is no Illuminati. But, so the thing I liked about Zelda wasn't the story, because, I wasn't paying attention to that.
It's a very mediocre story, actually.
Right.
Okay.
But what I liked about it was a puzzle, kind of. It's this big world. I loved the second Zelda just because I liked more of the action RPG. I got lost on the original one because it's all cryptically hidden. There's little things here and there. If you don't buy the guide or call the hotline, you're not going to find it when you're a kid before there was internet. This is like game facts type stuff you would need for that.
Yeah.
But the newer Zeldas, the things I like about it, that it actually scares me a little bit about Breath of the Wild, because they say that this one's not like this, but every Zelda up till now, you would go out and you would do something that would get you a certain weapon or a certain item that you would need in order to clear the next.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so one dungeon you would have to have a
candle or something.
Yeah, the very first thing you get is a candle. You can't really go through because it's all dark. Then you find a candle. Then you go through. Then later on you find,
the hook shot.
The hook shot. There's the fire rod, and then there's an ice rod, which of course you're going to be in an ice temple, so you have to have the fire to get past to melt it, or vice versa.
It's kind of like a Resident Evil. You have to have this key to open up this area.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay,
so I liked it because it was. I tend to like things that are a little bit more linear, where I actually know where I need to go.
What to do
so
next,
when you get to one of the castles and you're like, I can't progress, it's plastered all over the castle pretty much what item you need, because the whole look of the castle tells you what that particular one's all about. There's a fire one, there's a water one, there's a wind one, like that. And so I liked that about Zelda, because it's got this little story, and you have to go and you have to fight and do all these things, but I liked the puzzle pieces of it where you had to go unlock that thing. And then when you get in there, finding all the little pieces that you have to go through all the rooms and find the key that opens the door to the boss. And then you have to figure out how to beat the boss. So it's actually that's what the hook was for me, was how do I get to the next thing? How do I get to the next thing? That. It wasn't the story for me. It was the unlocking and going to the next thing. Because as soon as you unlock something, you see the next thing that you need to open, and you're like, okay, how do I open that? And then how do I open that? So
another suggestion on the Zelda scene that I would give you is on the 3DS, A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, that's very good too.
That's a good one. You may want to play A Link to the Past first, but you don't have to.
Okay. Yeah. So there is no succession in storylines.
No, it's almost like like he said, parallel dimensions or timelines that every one of them starts, ages ago, another young boy had a quest to find this, and we find ourselves in a similar situation now.
Yeah.
And that's why they can get away with making the graphics look a little different each time, and making all the temples and where you live at a little bit different. And it's always like, oh, I thought that was just a myth, I didn't understand anybody was really the one. And then he finds like he usually starts off as a normal kid, has to find the green outfit of the hero. That's what they call it. So the tights, if you will.
Or he finds the hat.
Or he finds that, the hat, the Minish cap. Yeah. That was a good one too. That game, that was good.
I would not recommend the CDI versions.
I've heard they're AAA titles, man.
Just avoid those.
Definitely Game of the Year worthy.
I don't even think those are canon anymore at this point. Zelda's like, or Nintendo's like, that was a thing.
No.
Yeah.
We gave you your shot, you blew it.
Yeah, some of my favorite ones are the GameCube ones. Okay. But I love GameCube, so those are my favorites. But again, you don't have to start at one and go forward. They each have the same formula, but it's not the same game, it's not the same characters, and it's not the same location even.
And I do completely agree with him. There was a huge amount of puzzle elements in it. Yeah. That's kind of the draw, is figuring out this puzzle. Like, you see something that you have to get to that's over there.
Yeah.
How do you get there? And this is what you have in your arsenal to try and get there.
It's almost MacGyvering it.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's why everybody loves that that noise, because every time you figure something out, it gives you this little jingle. I mean, when you open up boxes and find things like that, it jingles too. But like right when you're like, how do I climb this wall? And then you hit something at the right spot, and then it opens up a thing, and a ladder comes out. It's like, and you're perfect. I can keep going and stuff. So it's good for that. That's why everybody likes it, and that's why everybody's so psyched about this new Zelda, is because it's supposed to be bigger than Skyrim and blah, 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 blah. And everybody wants as much Zelda as they can get once you learn how to do it.
And if it's open world puzzle stuff like that, that'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
That'll be
It scares me because all I see when they show it, it's off on a different topic completely, but it scares me because it shows these wide open fields, and I'm like, okay, but where are we going? What are we doing in those fields besides just walking around being Link or whatever? You know, I want a castle that I need to go to, and I'm sure they're in there, but...
Probably hundreds of castles.
Probably more than we've ever seen before. It's probably very much like Skyrim, where you're just wandering around and you see a cave, and then you go in there and it's like a whole thing. It's a whole dungeon to go into.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's why we like Zelda.
Okay. I think I will be playing that very soon.
You gotta try it. It's very
I think
good.
I'll probably start that up this weekend. I'm going to end it right here, guys. We're going to continue this in about a week here and continue with other games that Kazi and Chad here both haven't played. I'm the Game Digger. This is Kazi. This is Chad, the Gaming Dad. I'm going to link his channel below. Mm-hmm. Check him out. He has hundreds of videos up there.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome videos. I'll be talking to you soon. Take care.